Are you terrified of starting your own business? I get it, so was I. But here's the truth. You're letting fear stop you from building the life that you want and deserve. I scaled my business to over $45 million per year in revenue, and today I'm sharing how to overcome the fears that hold most people back. But you know what's scarier than starting a business? Waking up in 10 or 20 years from now, stuck in the same soul-crushing job, dreaming about what could have been. So let's go. There are 3 powerful fears that paralyze people from starting a business, and my friend Jimmy was one of those guys. He always wanted to start a business, but he just didn't know where to start. He didn't know what he would do. He was great at sales, but he didn't know marketing, accounting, operations, hiring people. And in the summer of 2023, he made one of the biggest sales in his company's history, and it earned him a massive commission. But his boss didn't want to pay it. He thought it was too much money, even though Jimmy had rightfully owned it. So Jimmy had enough, and he started to plan his escape. And a few months later, he quit his job to launch his own business. And then 6 months later, he was crushing it. He was on track to hit over $800,000 in revenue in his first year. It was making way more money than he did at his dead-end job. But it wasn't that easy. Jimmy had all the same questions, concerns, fears rattling around in his head. What type of business do I start? How am I going to pay my bills? What gives me the greatest chance of success? So let's break down the 3 fears. Fear number 1 is fear of failure. Fear that you won't make it, that your friends and your family will criticize you for even trying. And the stats aren't that comforting. 20% of businesses fail within the first year, and by year 5, that number jumps to 50%. Not exactly the odds that you want to bet your life savings on, right? Now, the second fear is the fear of the unknown. When you're starting a business from scratch, there are so many variables. What if your brilliant idea turns out to be a dud? What if you can't find customers? What if nothing differentiates enough, right? The unknowns can be terrifying, but they also can be exciting because the unknown is new. There's sometimes great gems to be found. Now, every successful entrepreneur has faced these uncertainties, but the difference is they didn't let them paralyze them. And the third fear is financial, right? Starting a business often requires a significant chunk of money, and you have questions like, how long until I'm cash flow positive? What if I lose all the money that I put in? What if I can't support my family? These are very legitimate concerns. But what if I told you that there is a business model that reduces these risks? It's the same business model that Jimmy used to flip the script. Now, instead of totally starting from scratch, you start with a playbook that's been refined over the years. And the stats back it up. After 5 years, instead of a 50% chance of survival, the odds shoot up to over 85%. This business model solves the 3 paralyzing fears. For failure, you're following a proven system. Plus, you're joining a network of other business owners nationwide running the same playbook as you. So while you're in business for yourself, you're not by yourself. And this helps reduce failure. The second one is the unknown. And this is probably the biggest benefit, that you can get into almost any industry. And this is possible because you're going to buy knowledge, turning decades into days. And finally, the financial fears, they're real. Nobody can guarantee you anything, but success is still based on your ability to execute. However, you can connect with all these other owners around the country who have years of experience running the business, and these conversations and relationships will help you understand what's possible and help guide you to get there. And I know this is a lot to take in, so I have something special for you. I created a free guide called Escape the 9 to 5, Your Roadmap to Business Ownership. This guide breaks down everything that we talk about in this video in a lot more detail. It walks you through how to find the perfect opportunity, how to plan your exit from corporate America. It includes case studies of people who've made this transformation. If you want to grab a free copy, click the link below in the description. And if you haven't figured it out yet, I'm talking about franchising. I know some of you are thinking, isn't franchising just fast foods and 7-Elevens and stuff? Not at all. There are many well-known brands, but there's also 3,000 other franchise opportunities in almost every industry. Everyone knows the big brands like McDonald's, Planet Fitness, Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell, and these brands often require significant upfront capital and are very hard to get in. But there are other retail brands like Once Upon a Child that sells used clothing. There's specialized fitness center like Orange Theory Fitness or Anytime Fitness. You can get into childcare such as the Goddard School or Mathnasium. There's mobile businesses that operate a truck going directly to clients, and they often have lower overhead and more flexibility. Painting, plumbing, roofing, handyman, flooring, house cleaning, cabinets, the list goes on. There's so many opportunities. And then you have senior care, right? You could go to somebody's home and take care of them. There's transportation opportunities. There's relocation businesses. You could even get into mobile pet grooming. If you want to learn more of how to make money by owning franchises, then click the link below to sign up for my free weekly newsletter. I've been in franchising almost my entire life, and I've helped countless people start and scale their franchises. And every week in my free newsletter, I give tactical tips on how to find, operate, and scale franchises. Franchising is the best vehicle to build wealth and cash flow for people who love to follow a playbook. And I promise you will get value from it whether you're just getting started or running a multi-million-dollar franchise business like me. And after you click the link below to subscribe, you're going to get a welcome email that asks you to respond telling me about yourself. And I read every single email, so I look forward to hearing from you. And finally, there's home-based models that are usually the lowest cost, perfect for somebody who wants low risk and flexibility, cost reduction, direct mail, medical billing, and more. And if all that sounds good to you, how do you know what type of franchise to start? There's hundreds, right? There's thousands. It's a recipe for disaster to jump into the first opportunity that excites you. It's also a bad idea to just pull up the franchise top 100 list or whatever and just start picking them, because a lot of those paid to be on it. And just because they were right for somebody else does not mean that it's right for you. This is where a lot of people go wrong. So I created the Core 4 framework to help you find a business that stacks those odds in your favor. And the 4 are, number 1, what are your goals? What do you want to achieve by owning a business? This isn't just about money, although that's important. Are you looking for a side hustle that just generates some extra cash? Or are you looking to build a multi-million-dollar empire? Maybe you're focused on creating a legacy that you can pass down to your kids. Perhaps you just want a business that allows you to make a positive impact on your community. Your goals should dictate the type of business you should look for. A 28-year-old willing to grind 24/7 might be suited better for like a high-growth, labor-intensive business than a mom who prefers a side hustle and maybe something that's home-based with flexible hours. A married couple with young kids might look for one that's family-friendly and allows them to balance work and life and family and all that. A 65-year-old corporate refugee starting a second season might have a business that leverages their experience and knowledge and networks, right? Everyone is different. You need to find something that aligns with your goals. Number 2 are your skills. So like, what are you naturally gifted or skilled at or willing to learn? Are you good at high-ticket sales like Jimmy, communicating value and overcoming objections? Do you excel at relationship building in the B2B environment? Are you skilled at running operations, coordinating people and resources? Can you attract great people into your organization and build a strong culture? You don't need to be an expert at anything because the proven system is going to help you, but leveraging your strengths will accelerate your growth. Number 3 is, what is your budget? We all have different tolerance of risks. There is no right or wrong answers to these questions. You just want to think through them, right? How much cash are you comfortable investing up front? Are you open to taking on debt, or do you prefer to bootstrap everything, right? Do you want to start small and grow slowly, or are you going to go all in from the beginning? Are you open to bringing in partners to share the financial burden? But whatever you do, always keep money on the side. I recommend at least 6 months of operating expenses. It's better to be conservative than to run tight on cash. Finally, is your location. What makes sense in your market? This isn't just about where you live, it's about understanding your local landscape. Is the business seasonal? How will that affect cash flow? What are the income levels and the demographic of the market that you want to target? Who are your competitors? Are there licensing requirements or government restrictions you need to be aware of? There's sometimes people want to buy a franchise that's an hour and a half away, and I think it's a terrible idea. You want to start right in your local community. You want to leverage your network, leverage your relationship, and something that may work great in Miami may not work great in Philadelphia. And so the more clear that you can get about those core 4, the easier it will be for you to identify a great opportunity that's right for you. And if it's right for you, it lowers your risk. And if it lowers your risk, it should reduce those fears of failure and unknown and the financials and all that. Like my friend Royal Banks, he's a captain in the US Army. I interviewed him on my podcast a while ago, and he saw an opportunity when a local lab testing franchise came up for sale. And like many of you, he had fears about taking this leap. So he applied this Core 4 framework to the business. The goals aligned perfectly. He wanted something that was a stable business that had been around forever. His skills, he was really good at leadership and communication, from the military. In terms of his budget, he negotiated a seller financing deal that only needed $30,000 down on a $150,000 purchase. This gave him plenty of money in reserve for the first few months. And the location, it was ideal. It was in his community. He lived and drove around it every single day. When he bought this franchise, he joined a network of over 200 locations nationwide that instantly gave him access to knowledge, experience, and support that otherwise he wouldn't get. So in just 5 months, he transformed this struggling location into a cash flow machine. I want to be clear, franchising isn't a magic bullet. You still need to work hard. You still need to make smart decisions and follow the playbook, but it stacks the odds in your favor. And if there's anything I can do to support you, please reach out. I want to put out the best, highest quality content to help you make money through franchising. Follow along, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.